Hello and welcome everyone to Therapy of the Absurd, episode 17. What's up?
Me. When I was just a little girl, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be rich? Here's what she said to me. Probably not.
Okay.
Have you ever realized that's what K Sarah basically says is possibly you won't be pretty. Oh, I made her leave. You won't be pretty or you won't be rich. Like she says that. Like her daughter asks her, will I be pretty? Will I be rich? She goes, how do I know? Looking at you now, it could go either way.
50
It
50.
could,
50
you know?
50.
Yeah, 50-50. I'm sorry I scared you away, Stacy.
Come back.
Oh.
How was your week?
She's like, Dan, you're never allowed to sing again.
She's
I'm really
like,
hoping it's her connection.
my
So
ears, my
that was my week.
ears. Yes, how was your week, Star? How was your
So
week?
so my week was interesting. So I was being asked by people, do you get Veterans Day off? Right?
Uh-huh.
Like a lot of people are asking, do you get Veterans Day off? And actually at my company, no, but we get Memorial Day off, which does not make sense. Because you can hang
Interesting.
out with survivors. You, you can hang out with survivors. You can't. Okay, you don't get it. Got
I
it.
can hear you.
You can hear us now. Yay.
Sorry, guys.
I would retry that joke for Stefan, but it's not going to work now. So,
I'm sorry. Did I come in at the wrong time?
did you miss my beginning song?
I didn't hear anything.
So,
Oh, I think
okay,
she
well, I'm
wants
not
you to
going to.
sing it again, Dan.
No, I'm not going to sing it again. I'm just going to ask her. I'm just.
Encore.
No, no, no. I'm just going to ask her. Did you ever, like, you've heard Que Sera, the song Que Sera?
Yeah, que será, que será?
Yeah, I'm not saying it right,
You
but
made
that's
it
fine.
sound like quesadilla. Like, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Quesadilla.
Hey, Que Sera.
Quesadilla.
Hey, sir, you gonna have any hot sauce in quesadilla? Anyways, no,
Nice
like,
dialect.
so I was bringing up the fact that she asked her mom, "Will I be pretty? Will I be rich?" And what her mom says is, "Maybe. There's a possibility you won't be,
That
but don't
sounds like
worry about it."
a Aladdin mother. Yeah,
Yeah.
50
sounds
50.
about right.
50 50. 50 50, right? Or maybe 60 40.
Yeah, I mean, if you want your kid to grow up with low self esteem, just have a Hispanic relative. Just have him hang out or near a Hispanic relative. Like if I gain like 5 pounds, my aunts are automatically like, "You're getting a little chunky, aren't you?" Like,
Oh man, my wife's parents are like that. When before the pandemic, man, come holidays we'd hang out. I put on a couple pounds, huh?
They're like,
You
"Hey, I
want
thought
to
you were trying to be wife material."
my
Um,
you
grandma
want
is
you
the
want to
worst.
exercise?
Ever since I was a little girl, she would have me wear waist trainers. She'd be like, "Look, you need to look good for your future husband." And the joke's on my grandma because I'm still single and said, "Hell nah."
Oh jeez.
I have to give it up to my grandma though. She's like very vain, and I've become very vain. But when I was like, "Grandma, I think I need plastic surgery," she's like, "You do. I'll go with you if you want."
Dang, you got some comedy right there, yo.
yeah.
It's
Damn.
already in there.
Did you ask her, like, so what are you thinking of getting, like a horn, or maybe like antlers?
Look,
Ooh, antlers.
I'm supposed to be like husband presentable, not the opposite, sir.
Hey, it depends what kind of husband you're looking for now.
But I'm not. I'm
Hey
like
man.
the greatest thing though is my grandma was like, "Yeah, you do. I'll take care of you because you do. It's that bad."
Wow.
I love her though.
And that
But
was your
yeah, if you
grandma?
have my grandma, yeah, and she's the most hilarious
Bad
person when it comes
abuelita.
to strangers.
Bad.
She like she'll go straight up like tell like one of her employees or a stranger's kid if she's known them for a while. She'd be like, "Oh, you gained some weight, didn't you?" Like she's that type
Ooh.
of person. She is
Oh, she's
so
like gordo.
straightforward and blunt.
Gordo, come here, gordo.
No, because that still sounds loving. She's not like
Oh.
that. She says everything. She was raised by nuns. like she did not have a typical childhood. She doesn't show affection. So when I show her affection, I like grab her love handles and I'm like, "You're such a good grandma," and she just absorbs all of it. She's just like, yeah.
Wow.
You know what's
Yeah, it
weird
sounds.
is I wonder if that goes back to like 1800 Spain, where it was very very common for guys to have a mistress, and it's like, look, do you want to be one of those women whose guys had more than one mistress or just one?
You know
If you
what?
just
It is common practice. Like, it's crazy though. It's actually right. You're actually right because the way that it was in like middle class, upper class in El Salvador is
Hmm.
if your husband had a mistress, it was typical, and you were supposed to tolerate it and still run whatever like financial affairs and your children and
Hmm.
like that's exactly my
Wow.
grandma to a
What is that?
T.
Sancho? Sancho?
Sancho is a
Sancha?
guy
Oh, so
mistress.
Sancha.
Yeah, like but she was like like I told you, she was like raised by nuns, so she doesn't show affection. She's very blunt. She's the most loving, kind, patient person, but she is not like she's not gonna be like, "Oh, I love you." No, her love language
Hi,
is
kid.
gifts. Okay, her love language is gifts, which I
I
Have
love.
mean,
you gained
I
some
love.
weight?
I will take gifts.
She's like, you've gained some weight. Here's some pearls.
That's exactly my birthday. Yes.
man,
What did Ed say?
I mean,
Introduce her
oh,
as your girlfriend if
If
you're
you're
married.
married.
Abuelita, this is
yeah.
my girlfriend.
My wife
Oh.
got sick of me introducing her as my bottom bitch. It was just like not the. She hated that. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. There's the
You know
O
what's
for.
crazy? My mom is the absolute like opposite. She is very, very affectionate. Like she's overwhelming affectionate, and she like needs to nuzzle me, and like she needs to hold my head. And sometimes, okay, she's very religious. My mom is one of those crazy like fanatic religious people. Every now and then she'll be like, "Stacey, I want to pray for you," and she'll grab her hand and like stick it against my forehead and be like, "May
Yep.
the power of
Yep.
Christ compel you. May the power of Christ." She will go
Oh,
all out, and I swear to God, every now and
yes,
then I
Ed.
want to pull like an exorcist thing and just be like,
No,
Dude,
I
here's
I
did
here's
swear to
that
what you
you.
say to
once,
here.
and she went
I
hardcore, and she like literally went even harder and wouldn't stop praying for the next 30
I'm
minutes. So I
gonna
learned
I'm gonna
not to
tell
do
you.
that anymore.
You got okay. You got to film you watching The Exorcist with your mom, and we can play it on the pod. I would pay to
She'll
see
start
that, dude.
praying nonstop. That's what I'm trying not to get her to do. If I do that, she will start praying, and if I walk away, she'll get her holy water and start just throwing it everywhere. My brother learned the hard way that holy water stains your walls.
Ooh,
So yeah, so
some harsh
it
water.
stains your walls.
it's
Yeah.
because of
So
all the priest ejaculate.
oh,
Ooh.
you just
Hey, by the way, next time she holds your head as the power of Christ compels you, you go, Mom, the devil's not in me right now. It was only a one night stand.
ooh.
Oh, she would
See how,
flip, dude.
and then
The
film that.
steam's gonna come out of her ear.
I can't believe you fucked him. Or however she would say it. I don't
Actually,
know how to do your
well,
mom's
I
voice.
mean, like I've told you guys before, my mom wants nothing more than just a grandchild. Like, she doesn't care where it comes from. She's like, you can sleep with whoever you want. It could be an accident. She doesn't care. She just wants a grandchild, okay? She's like, if you
Mom,
need to go be a hoe, that's totally fine. Just give me my grandbaby.
Mom, I was on the street and I bumped into a guy and I'm pregnant now, Mom. What?
She's like, I don't care. I'll take care of it for you. I'm like,
I take
Mom,
care of
I
it.
still want to go out. She's like, that's fine. You can leave the baby with me forever. You can just come see it whenever you want.
Baby comes out,
Oh
head
man.
spinning, shooting pea soup everywhere, and she goes, still my mijo. Like, like,
Mom,
whatever.
you just have to go to her and say, "Hey, mom, have you seen Rosemary's Baby?" And if she says, "Yeah," no, and you're like,
She'll
"Yes,
take it
mom."
to church. She'll take it to church. She won't care. She's gonna be like,
It's all
the power of
smoking.
Christ compel you every single night if she has to. She won't care.
Why are you crying,
By
God?
the
The
way,
power of Christ compels you.
Give me huh?
for our audience, if you're ever going to eat baby, always use rosemary as a seasoning.
Oh, what's
Um,
wrong with you?
what? It's just a thing.
Oh. Well, it is the holiday season.
Seriously.
Well, it is the
Yeah,
holiday season,
we're
right?
we're about to come to Thanksgiving. We got to talk about the spread at the table. So,
Disgusting.
oh,
What?
you
Is
bring
it
out the
really?
beautiful in me.
You bring out
See,
the
I love it.
beautiful.
We keep making
You're
Ed laugh
disgusting.
today, so
Okay.
we're doing great. We're doing great. It's just great.
Well,
Nothing
they
like
say
Oh.
it
beautiful
makes
with
the
it.
best. They say it makes the best gravy, right, Dan?
How did this conversation go to consuming people? What is wrong with you?
Soylent
It's
Green
not
is
Halloween
people.
anymore. This is not socially
Soy,
acceptable anymore.
Wait, it was
Soylent
Stefan that brought up.
Green
It's
is
Stefan that brought up
people.
yeah. Stefan's the one who brought up the recipe we called Rosemary Baby, right? Rosemary Baby.
Mm.
Oh no, you were talking about the movie. Okay.
Finger licking good. All right, trucking forward. Do you guys know what came out today?
Okay.
Do you know
I
what
don't have
came out
enough
today?
vodka for this. Now I'm going to start. Everyone see this start. Oh, I hate you. I
Right
hate
there,
you.
right there.
I
Right
His wife is so sick of him bringing that to bed.
That's
She's
right. I had to
like,
bring it to bed.
you don't hold me anymore. You just sit there and rub that on your nipples.
That's right. Right now, just as hard as possible. But yes,
I hate.
the
Okay,
PS5.
I literally went to Walmart's website multiple times today at the exact times they told me to log in
Yeah.
when they'd be when the PlayStation 5s would be back in stock. It was like Comic-Con San Diego tickets all over again. It was
Wow, I believe it.
hoping that you'd get to the next page, then get to the next page where you would input your billing information, then hoping you'd get to the delivery section, and it'd be like, psych, out of stock.
Oh no, yeah, they had a whole thing. My buddy for the late was late into the night going to Sam's Club, Costco. What is it? Newegg, I think it's called. Dan, is that what it's called? I forget. I think it's
New
called
A
Newegg.
or GameStop or
Yeah, there's GameStop. What is it? Walmart, Target. They have all these places. He went everywhere, and then he got it on a store I've never even heard of.
I mean, here's the thing: is that there's a possibility. So I keep joking with Stefan that it's going to take me 2 years to get one. Usually we're behind, but then my wife found out that the Horizon Zero Dawn
Sequel.
sequel is going to be on it, and so she's like, "But we have to get." I'm sorry, something's going on with this. I have to have more beer, so I stopped doing that.
I don't know if you're like a woman's court. Yes, Nick. I am beyond pissed off.
Fix my eyebrows.
You know what, my
gotta fix
friend?
my hair.
Okay, my friend who is a girl bought
Yeah.
a PlayStation 5. She got lucky. I don't know how she got it today. She had a bidding war on Facebook Live. She ended up selling it for $1,000.
Guess
I
how much
am
they're on
very
eBay?
proud of how woman empowering she is. She knows how to make financial gain, but I'm still pissed off because I'm like, this bitch got the fucking PlayStation. She's not even gonna play it. I hate her. I hate her.
Oh man, no, yeah. There, eBay, like maybe a couple months ago was about 900. Slowly creeped over a little over 1,000 today. The last my buddy looked, I haven't looked myself, so take it with a grain of salt. But he said it was like 2,000 or over. So
Why are you people paying this much money
well,
for something
we're
that doesn't even have that many? What's the actual game everyone's looking forward to? Spider-Man or?
oh, Spider-Man Miles Morales is pretty hot. The reboot for Demon Souls, which is if you're into games that beat the shit out of you and kick your ass and
No,
don't make
no.
it easy for you, I beat all of them. I
I'm
love.
waiting. I'm waiting for God of War Ragnarok. That's the one I would get it
Yes.
for. The new
Yeah,
God of
that's
War will be on there, and That's why I bought a PlayStation 3 in the first place. Was to play or PlayStation 2 was to play God of War, and then I bought a PlayStation 3 to play God of War 3, and then I bought a PlayStation 4 to play the new God of War, and they
yeah.
just keep getting me with God of War because I love that story. But we have a little topic that we have to talk about today. What have
Ooh.
you been binge and purge watching during the pandemic?
I'm gonna kill me some TV. Myself, I caught up on The Walking Dead. What else did I binge watch? Queen of the South, because I got a little behind. If any of y'all have seen that one, that one's fucking badass. What is it? The Boys. I had to watch season 1 again before season 2 came out. I mean, come on, right, right. Let's see, Stranger Things. Keep watching those over and over from season 1 on to the what is it? 3 seasons now, unless I'm wrong and it's 4. I think it's 3, right? Pretty sure it's 3.
I don't know. See,
Uh,
my wife has watched that. I've been meaning to one day watch that. It's been
yeah, Cobra Kai.
I do
yeah.
Cobra
like The
Kai.
Boys. Everyone kept telling me to watch The Boys, which actually reminded me of the earlier seasons of Walking Dead, where there is no mercy on characters. So they kill pretty much strong supporting characters. As of season 1, season 2, it's like a freaking blood fest. I love it. Like, kill
Oh, it's
everyone,
beautiful.
go for it. But
No
I
mercy.
have a problem. When I binge watch, I really binge watch. Like, I finished both seasons in a day and a half. Not 2 days, a day
Yeah.
and a
See,
half.
there you
Yeah.
go. All
So
right.
so my wife and I have yet to watch the very last one of season 2. We've watched everything up to that. So we've just got to watch that. And it's like I love that show so much because you never know what the hell is going to happen on that. Oh, Nick, you're a sucker for the show Shameless? That's not surprising. No, I haven't seen it yet, but I hear it's really good. But like I was wordplay. Wordplay.
Well, one of our guests from our previous shows actually is working on season 3 of The Boys. I'm just gonna keep it really brief because I don't want to reveal anything. I definitely don't want to get him in trouble, but expect no mercy for season 3. He says it's like the dark side of the Avengers. Like, prepare yourself,
Really?
dark
So
side of the Avengers. That's how he
Yes,
described it to me.
Sergio.
So I can't wait for season 3. I believe Jensen Ackles is going to be portraying one of the
Yeah.
heroes for season
Yep.
3.
It's supposed to be
Um,
one of the original
I will
superheroes.
have to say Anthony Starr, I believe is his name, who plays Homelander. Holy shit! If they make another American Psycho, I want to see him in it. That guy has such the psychopath stare, the psychopath smile. He does it really well. And if you see his like interviews and stuff, which also I think he has an accent, like he's not originally
I think he's either British or
American. I think yeah. We
Scottish.
suck at that, Anthony Starr. Don't hate us. We want to meet you one day. Just don't burn us with your laser eyes. But like I have like they cast that guy. I'm like that's great. And I made this joke I think the other day. Like I really like Carl Urban. Guy's
Oh yeah,
amazing.
dude. Red,
But
bro,
the
and
guy
Lord
with the
of the Rings.
accent, right?
yeah, but the
Butcher.
thing that's
Guy plays
interesting to me is
Butcher.
he's always like this.
You guys like that? Tip us five
And
dollars, and Dan will do that all show long.
when you're a fat guy like me, this doesn't work for you. That's what's going on. You all have like a little party here in your britches, huh? Yeah, he's good at
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
I need to actually stick to a diet one day, but you can't have beer on a diet.
I'm
You
not.
can't have beer.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I actually started watching The Boys after I found out that Aya Cash from You're the Worst was going to play Stormfront. Now I'm not gonna release
Mm-hmm.
any information because she's a good chunk of the plot for season 2, or she's one of the main people for season 2. You're the Worst has actually been the show that I've been binge watching because it's the
Oh, okay.
exact reminder of how screwed up as a person I am. And it gives you a good idea as to the obstacles you deal with dating in LA with men, like the most emotionally unavailable men. It gives you an idea as to what these men think. And I, not gonna lie though, I suffer from really bad depression. Like every now and then I'll go through my moments where I
We are comedians.
we are. That's exactly what it is.
Don't
I
remind
suffer
me.
from really yeah, but You're the Worst actually goes into mental health, and I
Mm.
absolutely loved it. And it's a really dark comedy. If you do watch it, don't watch it with kids, or else you're going to be like, "Mommy, what are they doing? What are they doing with their tongue?"
Uh
Well, you know what
oh.
I loved about her, the one who plays Stormfront, is for her first couple episodes they make you love her. She doesn't give a shit. She speaks her mind, everything, and then they go, "Oh yeah, but she's a Nazi," and you're like, "God damn it!"
Well, that okay.
Spoiler alert.
See,
Spoiler
that's
alert.
that
Oh, I'm
character
Spoiler
sorry.
alert.
well.
I'm
She does
sorry,
that
everyone.
character so well
Go
because
watch it.
that is exactly You're the Worst. She
I'm gonna
portrays
kill you,
a
Dan.
very similar character without being a Nazi as a typical LA person. Um, it's nice to have those anti-heroes, and she does have that on You're the Worst, as well as her leading co-star. But that's actually been one of the shows. I actually also have been binge watching like crazy as my background noise, Bob's Burgers, because I can never go
Oh,
wrong
okay.
with doing
Ah,
that.
There's a Bob's Burger
Stefan.
movie coming out, if I'm not mistaken, actually.
Really? That's
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
it's like a
Yeah,
double
there's a
bacon
I
cheese.
saw
Bob's double bacon cheeseburger.
I saw a list of stuff. They're saying the SpongeBob movie might come direct to POV because of the pandemic. There's a lot of stuff. I'll get the list for next week. There, I mean, when you hear it, it's insane.
You just
Some
made me
stuff on there
think
I
that
didn't
if
even
there
know.
was actually a SpongeBob POV movie where you get to pretend, like it shows you through the eyes of SpongeBob, would be amazing. Like you'd finally figure, why is this fucker happy all the time? Oh yeah, he's just continuously shooting heroin. I didn't know that.
What the hell? It's
What have
awful.
you?
Well, he is a
What have you been binge watching there, Stefan?
I mean, there's so many things, man. Like, I just caught up on some South Park stuff that I haven't seen in a while because I missed quite a few. And they had the latest episode about the pandemic, which is now a few weeks old, but it's amazing because I didn't know that the father, I forget the kid's name. Oh man, it's awful. I don't remember if it's Kyle or whatever, but the dad becomes he owns his own weed farm, and then everybody gathers into South Park and the to go to the park, and he's doing this whole thing, and they're thinking it's some kind of benefit, for South Park, right? Because he came up on some cheese, and instead it's him doing a sale, his pandemic weed sale. Pandemic special. It's hilarious, dude. And then people start getting some new form of COVID or something, and he's convinced that his semen is the cure.
Mm. Oh wait, that's like that. Did you see that one priest? I forget where he was, somewhere in the world, that was telling women that his semen was the cure for possession or something like that. He's like, oh no, no, you just got to get it out and
You
you'll
just
be
gotta
cured.
get it.
So hey, don't worry, I'll provide you the knee pads.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I
You know,
disgust.
okay. So I got a
Oh God,
question.
it's disgusting.
So am I weird? So yes,
Cochina, cochina.
other than the boys,
Cochinos.
Yeah, cochino.
I binge watch YouTube.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Isn't that weird? So like I've binge watched Hitman 2 playthroughs. People playing Hitman
Oh,
2.
okay.
It's like I am surprised the Hitman games are so damn amazing. I've never actually played them. I
You
just
ready for the
watch other
PS5 one?
people play them.
Did you
I'll
see
just
the
watch
the
other
new?
people play it. It looks like really hard and I'll get pissed
Ooh,
off. But it's just amazing that you'll have like 100 different ways to go through the mission and kill people. I'm most impressed by the people who stay in the suit only and like
yeah.
they only get their targets. They don't knock anyone else out or kill anybody else out. I'm going to give a shout out to certain people like AJ Win on YouTube. Awesome. Win
Yeah.
spelt the way that they spell it in Asia, not win with WHEN. You know how to spell win with the
Gu-
NG, all
Nick,
that.
sorry, Nick. Guns
Mm.
Akimbo is fucking awesome. You are correct, sir.
I will check that out. And then and I love those. And then I keep watching, like I've been catching up with Deep Fat Fried when I actually was on furlough. They're a good podcast. Don't watch them right now. Watch them later. Some people think they're a bunch of cringy neckbeards. Okay, they're neckbeards. Is it cringy? Well, maybe, maybe not. I don't care. But they've done great, like dives into history, great dives into what's it
Dan,
called? Oh,
Dan, your beard isn't cringy, but it looks crunchy.
oh, it is. It is.
Like a
It's
bag
so
of
crunchy.
ruffles. Like a bag of
And
ruffles.
then the other thing I've been binge watching a lot is these neighbors who fight all the time. Like it's the coolest shit. Like I just stand outside my window with a glass of whiskey and just watch them. And man, like he hits hard. No, I'm just
Ooh,
kidding. I don't. No, this
what's he a-
doesn't happen. They're peaceful. They're peaceful. Everything's
Oh,
great.
I was gonna say,
I'm
is he a
sorry.
baseball
I
player?
was like, why aren't
Is he a
you
baseball
calling
player?
the police? What is wrong with you?
What's funny is like we every once
Neighbor
in a while
flicks.
you hear yelling because I live in the IE. Of course you do. I mean, we yell. They yell. Everybody in the IE yells. It's just the way it is. And it's sometimes weird the stuff like you hear just like randomly like, well, you should have taken the hot dogs out 12 hours ago. Like you just hear that just out of the blue across your neighborhood. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Wow. What stopped him from taking out the goddamn hot dogs?
I don't have that problem. I'm okay. So I moved to downtown LA, right? But I picked this perfect spot where it's away from like Skid Row because actually there's a lot of luxury apartments right by Skid Row, and I picked right at the corner, but it's away from everything at a distance where I'm not like in between protests or anything like that. I made the mistake of going out the day the World Series happened. I went out to
Uh-oh.
a rooftop bar. Um, I don't know how because it's mostly white people living in downtown LA or homeless people or crackheads, and all the Hispanics decided to go to downtown LA once the Dodgers won and start doing fireworks, and having fireworks at a rooftop level is the most scariest thing ever.
Oh
It
yeah, you don't
was
want to be on
really
the roof if
loud.
it
It was
catches
really
fire.
loud. Yeah, it was really
Yeah.
loud. But the funniest thing is they drove all the way to downtown LA and they all started doing their own parade and doing random fireworks. And you're like, you would think they would celebrate near home, but no, they just drove to downtown LA to scare the shit out of everyone there.
Let's stuck with the riches. Screw with the riches. By the way, when you say luxury apartments next to Skid Row, all I can think is diversity. It's diversity.
It's
It's beautiful
gentrification. It's
diversity.
not diversity. It's gentrification because it's mostly white people that are willing to pay $2,000, $3,000 to live next to a crackhead down the street.
So the wackiest
That's
gentrification would be if they start paying $2,000 to live in someone's ex tent. Like, oh, a tent under the overpass. How quaint. Let's go ahead and do that. Oh, they've left a kettle with a little bit of crack inside of it? That is awesome.
We actually do have to be careful though, because there are needles on the floor outside of this. Like, there's needles around very easily. I remember I had taken
Who wants to
my
play Saw 2?
grandmother out to brunch at a rooftop bar, and we're walking, and I'm like, oh shoot, that's a needle. I never grabbed such a tiny little petite lady away so fast in my life because a woman decided to wear sandals for some reason. And I'm like, Grandma, no, it's crack.
Ooh.
I was like, it's crazy. And then, like I said, it's like it's a high luxury neighborhood, but at the same time, it's also super. I can't find the appropriate word for
So
it.
when you saw the crack, were they bending over?
Where the what? I said I saw a needle. I didn't see the crack. What is
More
Oh, okay. I thought you said
wordplay.
you saw crack.
Ooh, wordplay. The plumber
Okay.
district
Well,
has come in. Yeah. It's interesting because like you have hey Jason, thanks for joining the show. Uh, you know, now I'm thrown off. The interesting thing about that is the people in the campsites are like they're doing their shady shit out in the open so everyone can see, and then the people in the apartments are like storing the bodies in their closets, right?
I think I know why they're doing it out in the open, though, Dan. I think they're trying to go to jail to get that bologna sandwich. They're hungry.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I don't
that's
know.
gross. Stop it. But you know what?
Hey, man,
It,
gotta eat.
they're prepared to go though. If they have to like flee, all they need to do is just grab their tent. So I don't know. I always hate talking about it because
Get
I
your
don't know. It's a
crack
really
and
tough
heroin.
predicament. It's a tough predicament. Like I don't like talking about homeless
Time to
people or anything
go.
like that. But
Like, how fast do you think they can run while they're on crack away from the cops?
oh my
Oh!
gosh, there is a video of this guy.
That's the
Did
worst thing.
exactly that. He started running away from the cops because he was on crack, and he's like, "You can't catch me, I'm on crack, yo!" And he like literally went bolting, and the cops are trying to chase him. He's
That's
like, "I'm
funny.
an animal. The drugs are kicking in," and the fact that
And
everything
watch, he's
was
only
on
going
him.
5 miles an hour.
Well, he was actually going really fast.
Oh, he was? Oh, okay.
He was on crack. It was speed essentially.
You know, that's the worst part about driving through a falling rock zone is swerving around all the crackheads that are looking up in hope.
Oh my gosh, you're horrible.
Anyway, so we have a guest,
We
and she's had an amazing life, and she's going to continue to because she's an awesome casting director. Please welcome Nyla Durrani.
Yay!
Hi.
Woo! So you got a
You're
PS5?
No,
Oh, okay.
He's just going to
I
keep
have
Just
doing
a,
had to
that.
ask.
I have a newborn. I have other things I have to spend my
Oh,
money on.
oh,
Wait,
yes.
Oh
would
my
it be
God.
like the perfect gift for the father of your child? Is
He
that
doesn't play
like,
video games.
no, you're so lucky.
No, instead he plays Magic.
Oh, Magic the
So-
Gathering.
Okay.
so, as a casting director, did you get to go pick out the baby, or?
You know, I make that joke all the time. I'm like, I know what I'm going to cast him in, or I know how to cast him in things. And yeah, he's actually really cute. I already have a commercial agent for him.
Oh, nice.
So, by the way,
Nice.
those who do not know, it says Nyla Durrani, casting producer. I said director. I'm sorry. Casting producer is more. It's more accurate. But she says with AGT. AGT means America's Got Talent.
Mhm.
Yes, we're here to prove that wrong. But but you probably have plenty of great stories of some of the most interesting people to try to be in America's Got Talent that probably just need to go back to Starbucks, right?
I mean, yes and no. Um,
Man, you're so mean.
I'm not going to, rag on people, but there have definitely been some
Interesting
people
characters.
that have tried out not just for AGT, but for other shows I've cast. I've cast relationship shows, dating shows, house party shows. I try. Oh yeah. I tried casting Mama June's dating show.
Oh my gosh, Mama June's dating show. She was okay. So what she was she in? She was in one of those pageant shows, right?
Yeah, she's Honey Boo Boo's mom.
How did
Honey
she
Boo
end up
Boo's
with the
mom.
crackhead guy though? How did that happen?
So she was gonna do the dating show, and then somebody, I guess, another network offered her the show From Hot to Not, and so she decided to do that show instead. But our show we were creating was going to be like Bachelorette style, but the guys didn't know.
It was Mama June. Oh,
They had no idea. Mama June. Oh my gosh! You show up,
Oh,
you're like,
that would have been.
so where's she's
I mean,
at?
they dodged a bullet, right? Like after I read a lot of TMZ, I
Mhm.
think they dodged a bullet.
Oh no! So they didn't find out until they signed their NDA. And when they signed their NDA, we told them, and there was one person in particular, a fireman from New York City, from Manhattan, jacked up, good-looking kind of guy, found out, and then he was like, "Yeah, I'm never trusting you again."
Wow.
I mean,
So
I haven't seen any of the Honey Boo Boo stuff, but I've seen clips with Mama June,
yeah,
and it's just the personality kind of makes you go, what's going on there?
I mean, she's on drugs. That's what's going on.
Oh,
I
okay.
would feel bad for her kids.
Yeah.
Their kids look like they have such charismatic personalities. I never really watched the show. I watched a lot of clips, and of course, they became like these famous like gifs.
Yeah.
But I would read on TMZ about what was going on with their mom, and the fact that this was so public, I would just break my heart. Like, these kids are raising themselves. It's not even that. But
I think sadly when you get on reality shows like that one where it's all about you, stuff like that's not happening.
ouch.
I mean,
Not
I
all-
could
But
tell
not
you,
all reality shows are bad.
Not all
I think
reality shows
people
are-
still have
no.
their own free will to do what they please, and unfortunately, the decisions that they make is on them. If nobody else is putting a gun to your head, so if they make bad
100%.
decisions, that is solely
That's
on
on them.
you. You're
I
the
mean, I'm
only one
obsessed with
charged.
90 Day Fiance myself, so I can't talk. So
Oh my god! Oh,
Now,
I
you see,
I love.
I'm
the
old
only
enough.
reality show I watched.
I'm old enough to remember watching the first 2 seasons of The Real World,
am I.
which started it all. And what was it? It was season 2 where MTV cast a guy named Dutch
Oh
who
yeah,
started shit with everyone, and they went, "This is what needs to happen every show. Our ratings are going through the roof. Nobody likes this. They're getting along stuff. We need a Dutch in every show."
yeah.
So, have you cast the Dutch?
I mean, I don't think so. Um, I've never. I don't think his name was Dutch though. It was something else. But no, I've never cast a complete asshole. I think the shows that I work on, I've cast a lot of game shows, especially. So I think people want to like the people that I'm casting. Um, hmm. Yeah, I've never had anybody who's a real. Maybe me trying to get them on a show, they've been a little bit of an asshole, but like they're just like, well, just in general, it's like, hey, I want you to be on this show, and they're just like, no, like, and they're just like pompous, I guess. But no, I've never. But I understand. Like, if somebody asked me to be on some dating show, I'd be like, no,
So no asshole. So you haven't worked on The Apprentice.
no.
Good for you.
God.
Good for you.
I would never work on. And what's funny is The Apprentice, like when they had all the celebrities on it, it necessarily wasn't a casting person that was booking that. That was like a celebrity booker, of the show. They just looked up all the managers and wasn't part of casting. But anyway, sorry.
So Nyla, how long have you been in the industry?
So I started working in casting in 2013.
Oh my gosh, so it's been a long
7 years, 7, 8 years now. Yeah.
A long time. Man,
It is. I mean, come on.
Basically, I've been doing casting all of my 30s, so you can tell how old I am.
all right.
Yeah.
You do not.
It's been fun. I was working as like a PA and as a coordinator and all these other like organizing type of jobs in production, and I realized I hated production and I hated sitting on set waiting for lighting, and so I'd rather get into something a little more fun, which was casting.
So you started from the bottom. You were a PA.
Oh yeah, I started I was a receptionist in a commercial office, you remember the guy who did, or remember the commercial, This Is Your Brain on Drugs?
Oh, yeah.
And all the Budweiser Clydesdale commercials during the Super Bowl. So I worked in that commercial director's office as his receptionist. And then after 4 years, I left that, was a PA in commercials, which I hate working in commercials. It sucked. And then when I got into casting, I started as an assistant. So every time I've kind of like switched careers in this industry, I've always started at the bottom.
I think that's actually pretty common, right? A lot of
Yeah.
people in the industry started from the very bottom. Either they were like mailroom clerks
Yeah.
or they were PAs.
Yeah.
I've actually heard that very often with the most successful people. Now, this is a question for people that want to get on these big reality shows like America's Got Talent. You do other shows like were you part of the Gong Show? I can't remember.
Yeah, I did the Gong Show season 2, so I was lucky enough to cast about 80% of the talents that got on air.
Oh,
So,
wow.
or that
Wow.
auditioned on the stage. So,
I have always dreamed of being the fastest gonged person ever, but I saw somebody on there that just walked on and their appearance made them gong right away. And then I was like, damn, that's not going to happen.
I was really sad that not more people didn't watch the show. I think it had like 1.8 million viewers, so it was like it only lasted 2 seasons. Plus, they also changed the days and the times continuously through the season. So how are you supposed to have an audience like tune in for your show? It was a fun show to work on, and I met a lot of crazy people and some of my favorite people that I've ever cast.
Well, in
Nice,
reference
nice.
to that, I mean, what advice would you give to new talent that wants to actually book these type of auditions?
I think the biggest thing is obviously be ready for this opportunity, whether it be like the Gong Show, Bring the Funny, American Idol, The Voice, Dancing with the Stars, like, or what is it? Not Dancing with the Stars, World of Dance, or AGT. It's like, number one, you got to be ready for an opportunity like this. I think there's a lot of people going back to the fun comments at the beginning. There's a lot of people who think they're like, oh, I'm a singer, I can sing. It's like, no, it's not like you sing in the bathroom. You know what I mean? You're actually somebody pursuing this. You know what the show is. You understand the show, and you understand the standard that we're looking for. I think be realistic. And then I think it also comes down to having the talent, but also personality. I want to root for somebody. I want somebody I can relate to. A lot of comedians, as examples, they're like, when they try out for AGT, they're just like, oh, well, I'm not dying of cancer. I'm just like, I'm not looking for the cancer story. Like Preacher Lawson, great example.
Oh,
He's fun, energy. The second he walked out on that stage, it was just like, I like this guy. You just fell in love with him and his energy. I don't think any show is looking to cast another preacher, but I think at the end of the day, that big personality, that stage presence, that's what I'm looking for. Personality, stage presence, and talent. Those 3 things first and foremost. Your backstory we can find. We all have a backstory. I'll dig for a backstory. One time I was talking to somebody for 45 minutes, and all of a sudden she's like, yeah, I have a foundation that helps mentally, da, da, da. And I'm like, why haven't you told me this already? Like, we will find something. So
I actually was trying to pitch an idea, but they didn't like it. It was called the Mass Stalker. They really didn't like that. We would reveal who the stalker was, but it would take handcuffs.
Man, get out.
Okay, bye.
oh my lord.
Uh,
Oh my.
You've met a lot of people. Which
mhm.
which is your favorite underdog story? Who is someone that blew you away that you wouldn't expect had blown up the way that they did?
Gosh. Maybe Alex Hooper. He came back for a second time this season, and he got through the live shows. So that was really cool because I came to AGT. I remember my first season. I was like, we've never had a roaster on the show. And they're like, go find it. And I was like, okay. And I would just happen to be at the Comedy Store watching roast battles. And then, oh God, what's his name? Brian. Is it Brian who runs the roast battles up there?
I can't remember exactly his last name.
African American guy. I think his name's Brian. I can't remember. Anyways, so he was like, hey, you got to meet this guy. His name's Alex. And I was like, okay. And Alex just walked up to me. I told him who I was, what I needed. Within a week, he got me an audition tape, and I was like, oh, Jesus. I was like, how do I show this to my producers? And so, and then, later he found out he was on the show. He was on the show, and then this year he came back and apologized, and then roasted them again. So I think he's been one of my favorites. Um, I think my favorite person that I've ever cast was a girl named. Oh God, this is what happens when you have a kid. Things just like go out of your mind. Her name is.
See, she
Kayla.
doesn't like production, but she does like reproduction. Everyone, she had a child.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm the same way, but I don't have a kid, so I don't know how it is.
Yeah, it's a real thing. There was a girl named Haley. Her name was Haley, and I cast her on Undercover Boss, Celebrity Edition. Celebrity Edition. So celebrities came on and found people inside their industry. So she was on an episode with a plus size model. Can't remember that model's name, but it's a plus size, very well known model. And she's also a plus size model, but she's Muslim. She's from Pakistan, moved here to America, I think 2 weeks before 9/11, hardly spoke English. And, oh God, what did they call her? They kept calling her Terry at school the first,
For
couple weeks.
terrorists?
Yeah.
That is
After,
awful.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
geez.
yeah, and she
Wow.
didn't speak good English, and this is right after the towers went down and everything like that. So they kept calling her Terry, and at first she thought, oh, they gave me a nickname, they're accepting me, and like a week or so later found out terrorist. So through that, she's had a hard time, and then she was plus size and learning the language and everything. So she was on our show, and now she's or on Undercover Boss, and now she's modeling and she's signed and she travels like constantly. Like see her on Instagram, I'm like, damn it, I want that life, She's always in like Germany, and oh, it's fun. I'm happy for her.
Wow.
Like that is awful. Oh my gosh, no! But that's so good. Yeah, that is definitely.
That's awful, but that's good. That's
Well, I
awful,
mean,
but
like,
good. But awful, but
she
good.
is
But
now
awful,
like,
but good.
haha, screw you people. Like you made fun of me.
Yeah.
Guess where I'm at now. Like I love that. I love it. And then actually, Alex. Yeah, even Alex live. He's such a likable person. I actually always smile when I would hear his sets, especially when he would talk about his dogs. I highly recommend watching him live. He's really funny.
He's really good.
I keep trying to be a plus size male model, but the only people that keep calling is Ducks Unlimited. Damn it!
I
You
can
look
see that.
like you would be
On
on
Duck
site,
Dynasty.
but more like a regular,
Yeah.
like pedos.
Oh, are you?
Aw. Didn't.
I had
Now,
to.
if I
For
was
all your
on
really
Ducks
bad
Dynasty,
jokes, I had to make one really bad one. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
and I didn't mean it. Kind of.
it's okay. It's okay. I'm not. It's fine. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. No, but if I was on Duck Dynasty, though, I would have different kind of duck calls, like, "You ducks want some food?"
Oh, okay. Okay.
That'd be
I
it.
don't know if it'd work, but
No, that's. I'm sorry. That.
It's for the ducks that speak English. I have to make some other ones. Yeah.
Okay. American
Okay.
ducks. Okay.
So, Nyla, do you think that people, Dan, get out.
This way now.
Do you think that people when they audition, or even if they do stand up, should they have a certain attribute that they should put more emphasis on, like typecasting, like
Or a beard. Or a
exotic
beard.
Latina, or the super stoner Jew, I've had this conversation before with other casting directors. They say go for it, but what's your perspective on it?
Like, how should they look?
Not that how should they look, it's should they put more emphasis on who they are in reference to personality? Like for comedians, all right, let's say.
I think you should play into your personal character at the end of the day. Like, let me use an example. I mean, we can just use Preacher, I guess, because everybody knows him. If he came out and he was calm and he didn't play into his like energy and everything, I think it would lose something. You kind of want to play into who you are a bit more. Um, it's just kind of like getting ready for a date the first time. You just swiped right on the hottest person on Tinder. You're going to go out there and meet them in person. You're not going to be 7. You're going to be at 10. You're going to have that best outfit on. You're going to have your hair done. You're going to have your makeup on. You're going to be smiling throughout the whole dinner. You're just going to put the best face on. You're playing a role of yourself essentially on that date. The first date is an audition, and that's what I've always joked about. Is like everybody who goes on a date with me is just auditioning to get a part in the show. The big show being me. That was always my like little one-liner tagline on my dating profiles. So that's back in the day.
I'm so glad I'm married now. I have been married for 19 years now, so it's like I haven't had to do a date in a long time, and it's relieving. Everyone,
Yes,
it's relieving not to have to date anymore.
especially in your 30s. You don't want to
It's
do that in
fun.
LA. Trust me, not in
Oh,
your
it is.
30s at LA. But I think that's what it comes down to is you are always on an audition. You're always putting your best foot forward. If you're at the comedy club and you are going to perform on stage, you should look the part at all times. You don't know who's going to be in the room. You should always be recording. That doesn't mean audio. That means a video because you don't know when you're going to kill that night. Now you have an audition tape. You know what I mean? It's like, and you're looking good because you were already on point. So I think that's a good thing is like always be in your character, um, in a sense, I think that's the biggest thing. And I don't think like, oh, you should shave your face, you should be clean cut. Maybe that's not your character. If I told you should dye your hair black and you should, wear certain clothes or do your makeup a certain way, you'd be like, well, that's just not me. That's not my style. There's a great comedian, Carmen Morales. I don't know if you know who she is. She's a Latina female comedian here in LA. She always wears like a was it a flannel shirt and some like jeans and but if you told her to wear dark high heels and a dress, it just wouldn't be Carmen. Yeah. So that's my say there.
I love that. I love that because I had mentioned before, we had a casting director before as one of her guests, and she said yes, you are. She would highly recommend typecast, but you seem like you're pushing more towards be yourself, put more emphasis on yourself, and definitely bring that energy, which a lot of people don't do. I mean, when I see comedians out on stage or these Zoom shows, half of them are like, I'm just here to talk. My jokes are good, but I'm not putting any energy. They're really witty, so people will laugh. And in reality, it totally zones me out. I'm like, haha. Like, I'll chuckle. Dan at least puts a bunch of energy saying stupid stuff, but I love it.
Thank you.
I'll be honest.
So much energy.
I've gone to comedy clubs and I've seen the same comedian 100 times, but they always look nice. And even when they're dressed down, they still look like they tried. And they come on stage and they're always performing. They're always on. I think Nick Guerra is a great example of this. He is just a very seasoned comedian, and I feel like he always tries to dress up unless he's at a club and then the manager's like, get on stage. He's like, I'm not really dressed for the part. But when he has shows, he always dresses nice. So I think he's a really good example. But he used to have long hair, and he was being typecast as like this young Hispanic or stoner or something like that. Like he was always being typecast like that. And it fit him. So, but he didn't want to be cast as that anymore. And so he cut off all his hair. And he's a different look now. Is he getting booked for things? I have no idea, but he's not getting booked for those roles he didn't want to do anyway. So I think it just goes back to what you're wanting to do, what your path is.
I always try to make sure to get all the stuff I usually leave in my beard out before a show. So I don't want it to be in there during the show.
No, you don't want to do that.
No. I'm talking about berets and things like that. So
no, but I agree with Stacy. Somebody comes onto the stage and they got a certain energy about them, and their personalities really coming out, it really draws you in. It helps. It really
Mhm.
helps, because if
Yeah.
you have the jokes but no energy and no personality, then it's kind of like, yeah, that person's funny. Wait, what
Yeah.
was his name? Who was he? You
It's
know?
kind
Yeah.
of interesting when someone can do that with a little bit of low energy, though. To like a Stephen Wright or Doug
Yeah.
Stanhope comes out, and the way he talks to the audience, he talks like, "I know you guys," and then he just starts talking to you, and that's the weird thing. He doesn't have a ton of energy, but he has this energy where he's the guy you were waiting to show up at the party, kind of dude. Like,
Mhm.
oh,
Oh yeah.
this is gonna make this guy's gonna make stuff funny. That kind of
Well,
dude.
that was the one thing, and I'm probably gonna misquote him, so I don't mean to, but Richard Pryor had a very famous saying, and the meaning of it is on point, but I don't remember it verbatim, but it was something along the lines of, "Funny is not enough. Be interesting."
Mhm.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
You know?
Now, what are your tips or recommendations in reference to self tapes and headshots? Like, what have you seen the big no nos and the big yes, I want that person. Let's do it.
Well, for me personally, I work in reality and competitions and all this other stuff. So I personally do not need headshots. But one of my biggest pet peeves is that if if I do need a headshot or you do send me a headshot, you attach it inside the email. Now I'm like scrolling through the email and it's just like it's so annoying. So I would suggest if you're going to send a headshot, send it as an attachment at the bottom, so I can open it up. You know what I mean? Like that's one of my biggest pet peeves. I've talked about that at comedy festivals before, and like everybody on the panel starts laughing because I think we all feel the same way. It's like some people want it in the email, I've heard, but majority of us, I feel like, want it as an attachment. So that's my biggest pet peeve. But get noticed, I think a professional email always is nice. If I post something on Facebook and you send me a DM, did I say send me a DM or did I say in the email or in the post, send me an email with this information? Like I think following directions, sending a professional email, you can have a signature on the bottom of your email. I think that's the biggest thing for me. Seeing sent from iPhone means you saw something scrolling, you hit it, you sent me a quick email, and you put your phone down. You didn't take the time to really like do something. And you
Yeah.
can go into your phone, into your settings on your phone, into your email settings, and make a signature for yourself. So it's not sent from my phone. You can do it too. I'm not that tech savvy. I know you can do it. And leave your email, your social media, your phone number. Sometimes I get things that I'm like, I really want to pick up the phone and talk to this person while I have this idea in my head. And instead, like, I'm like, hey, call me back. And when they call me back, ideas might not be there still. And so I think that's a big thing is like put your phone number in it, make a professional email, say hello, write my name, write it correctly. Maybe Claudia or Marla, which it changes to an autocorrect. Um,
You
so
have
I
to
think
be literate. Must be
Wait,
yeah,
literate.
so you mean social? So you think? So your perspective is we should put like our social media handles on our signature, like our Instagrams and our Facebooks.
yes,
Okay. Huh.
100%. Because I want to be able just to like click it instead of going, okay, Google search Stacey. So like it's right there. You know what I mean? It should be a nice, your name, your email address, your social media, your phone number, just like all there. Maybe a nice little like disclaimer or little like photo of you at the end with like, like I don't know, just it's.
A
Okay.
disclaimer like, please skip the first four pictures. They're all with horses. It's not who I really am. Please go to 5 through going on. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Another thing I tell
Yes.
people to do, and this is a big piece of advice I tell people all the time, is if you're going to put your cell phone number on your signature, why not make a Google number? Your Google number, which is attached to your Gmail. If your Gmail is attached to your phone, your Google number will ring on your phone. And if that number shows up on your phone, you know immediately that it's a work call and it's not a creditor. So you answer that call super fast. So I suggest that to a lot of people who are performers. That way you're not like, okay, I'll check the voicemail later. It rings, that number shows up. You don't know who's calling because it's a Google number, but it's a work number.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, because I am one of those people that actually sends everyone to voicemail. I pay my bills, guys. I pay my bills. I don't have that problem. And just like, I don't recognize this number, just leave a message. That's the type of person that I am. But
Yeah.
now, okay, I will teach that tip. I did
Yeah.
not know that.
Yeah.
Do you think that social media profiles now have more influence in impacting a casting person's decision than an IMDb credit profile now?
Again, I don't cast script, so I don't look at IMDb myself. Um, I'm sure with script casting that might help you as well, for sure. I can only assume. For me, if you have like 200 million followers, hell yeah, that's going to influence people in general. Opinion. They're going to be like, okay, they have 200 million followers. Those 200 million followers are going to come watch our show. Like any show I'm on is going to think that. But if you have 100 followers, it's not going to be like, oh, he only has 100. Like, no, if your talent's there, your personality's there, everything is there, I'm still going to want to cast you. So I don't think it's like a big deal. But I mean, hell yeah, if you have like 200 million followers, fuck yeah, I'm going to be like, did I say that on here? I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to totally pay attention. Like, either I'm not noticing something and other people are, or yeah, like what I said before.
Do you guys have any questions, like for our audience who's watching? If you guys have any questions, please feel free to go ahead and put it in the comment box below. That way we can go ahead and ask Nyla. Do you guys, and welcome back, Dana. We missed you. You missed what, like an hour?
It sucked. It was just, typically that situation doesn't run that long, but it just, so sorry, you guys. Glad to be here. Glad to be in. Glad to catch you, Naila. Glad to catch the last. I definitely enjoy a lot of what I've seen on AGT. So definitely, happy to be here. Preacher Lawson, the comedian, just so many great things that we've seen out of there.
And I think I'm not the only one who does it. There's a huge team of us, and I give my team.
No, you're the only one. You're the only one who does it. We're telling everyone you're the only one.
Please, God.
But no, I think that you're just part of a great family of great content. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that's what I think. Just overall,
watch I Can See Your Voice on Wednesday nights. I cast that, and it's currently on television.
What's it called?
I Can See Your Voice.
Oh, okay.
It's right after The Masked Singer.
Oh, okay.
That's
okay.
by Ken, right?
Yeah.
Ken is the one that Ken. Okay, yeah. So you guys know stand-up comedian Ken Jong. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Ken Jong.
Yeah. Okay. So he's so funny. I've seen him
He's having trouble on the one-syllable last names.
I always am like surprised if I know he was a doctor. Imagine doing, being a doctor, and then you're like, I'm just gonna do stand-up comedy.
It's a lot of confidence.
Other people, I want to be the rude issue.
You gotta have confidence to leave being a doctor to do stand-up comedy, just like the confidence to jump naked out of a trunk of a car. In The Hangover. Like, it takes a lot of confidence to do that.
Oh my gosh.
That's how you know it's big.
Yeah,
I don't think it's drugs. I think with him it's pure confidence.
Yeah.
Or both, or drugs and confidence.
I met him once at the Ha, and I was actually very impressed by him because I just went up there randomly, and someone's like, "Oh, Ken John's here," and he's been on. I was casting I Can See Your Voice, and so I knew he was the host, and so I just kind of wanted to like, "Hey, I'm casting a show right now," and then he was on the Gong Show, so I was like, he's been on a couple of my shows, and I know his manager as well, Brett Carducci. And so I was like, hey, I know Brett, introduced myself. And I think it was 3 hours later, he'd already done his set. He talked to 1 million people. And I was like, hey, I'm just heading out. I just wanted to say thanks again, for saying hi and grabbing a photo with you. And he's like, oh, Nyla, it was so nice to meet you. And I was like, I remembered my name. My name is weird. You know what I mean? And he said it right, So I was like, I'm impressed with this man.
You know what? It's insane how many people remember things. And now with TikTok, the biggest trend now is talking about your celebrity encounters and how your experience was with them.
Yeah.
And if at any point you did not treat them well, you smirked or you rolled your eyes, they remember.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I think Joel McHale has been he's been a common celebrity encounter that hasn't been negative. What the funny part about it though is I've met him. I've been so fortunate to meet him a couple of times. He is a very sarcastic person. With me, I knew he was playing with me.
Yeah.
And as I hear these stories, I'm like, I think he's playing with you. You just probably don't understand.
You don't get it.
Sarcasm.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a smartass like myself, and I've definitely rubbed people the wrong way before in the past, so I get it. I roll my eyes a lot, and my coworkers have noticed that. So I shouldn't do it anymore.
So, guys, if you ever make it big, remember, TikTok remembers.
TikTok remembers. Yeah, I only recently got on TikTok.
I can't. I have a problem. Are you on it 24/7, even if you don't try to be?
No, I'm on Instagram more. I've started using Instagram a lot and hashtags a lot to find talent. And I feel like Instagram and YouTube are still like the biggest places I search when I'm actually just kind of like lazily doing searching. TikTok, I've found singers, and some dancers, but not really any comedy or anything. So yeah, no, I'm not on TikTok. I have to get it because I have to search other places to find talent now. I don't know if there's any other app I should look at, but I've looked at Twitch before as well.
Wow, I didn't even know that you were actually looking at. Oh.
Yeah. Well, as a 40-year-old guy with a beard, if I spend too much time on TikTok, the police come to my door.
And that's a good thing, right? They're actually working.
Yeah, they're doing their job.
Finding talent. If any of you guys have friends or anything, Nyla actually has a Facebook page. It's What's Nyla Casting Now? Is that the actual? Is that the Facebook group? I think you have the link. I gave it to Steph.
Yeah, it's a Facebook group. It's called What's Nyla Casting Now, and it's NAELA. And myself and other casting producers post casting calls, essentially. Mostly, what's it called? Oh, I have an IMDb page. Who knew? There's probably one credit on there, and I have thousands. I've actually gone up to what's it called? My people over at AGT, and I'm like, hey, can you like credit me so I can like put it on this? And they're like, yeah, sure. It never happens. But yeah, on my Facebook page, people can add themselves there, and they can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Anybody can add me on Facebook. I still have to go through 100 other ads, but I'm at that limit. So now I'm like very like, should I only have like 2 people in common. Oh, I have 50 people in common with this person. I don't know. I just feel like maybe they're more established.
Well, everybody watching, you see the oh, I'm sorry to say I forget what they're called. Hey, there's the hashtag. Sorry, what is the word again? I'm messing up the word here. Addresses? Hey, there's the social media stuff right there for Nyla on Facebook.
And your age is showing.
I know, or my alcoholism. I don't know which one.
He has been drinking that beer.
Yeah, it's gotta be that. Yeah. But you know, where reality meets reality. Interesting on IG or Nyla Casting on Facebook or the IMDb right there. Nyla, would you like to stay on with us for another segment?
What am I doing?
Well, Dana has put together something, some funny thing, random thing. I think she should actually explain it.
Well, one, I just love to laugh. Like I think, and so I and then on this wonderful journey of doing comedy, like I already liked to laugh before I entered got on the on-ramp and got on the comedy freeway, and then right up my alley through the great, we joke on this feed, we call it the Al Gore rhythm, but through the great algorithm of Apple News, I get these BuzzFeed like lists of just silly shit. There's just, and it just like, it's just funny to me. If there was anything we needed in COVID to brighten every day, is a whole lot to laugh about. So I just tried to pick a few that I thought would be fun to talk about. And actually, there's, it's weird. Like I was on a comedy show or something the other night. Or no, I was in a class rather, and something came up that was on this thing. It's not the same thing, but when we get to it, I'll tell you guys what happened. It's very interesting. So let her rip. So I call it hashtag get these laughs, because that's what I want everybody to do. And I honestly, I'm one of those people who, like, in my friendship thread, like I'll send my friends the link, like, get these laughs, y'all, get these laughs, just, so for all of us to just be lifted up. So I think there's just the great humor, the true humor of it all. And then there's hopefully that place that we can make somebody's day brighter. All right. So am I sharing screen or are you guys sharing screen? Like,
either one.
I forgot that I'm so used to someone else doing it. So I'm not ready to share screen because I didn't pull it up that way, but I can, if you give me or if somebody has it ready.
Stefan, do you have it? Because, wow.
Nope, I do not.
Okay, so it's gonna be an awesome list.
Okay, right. That didn't go well.
Because I know you have.
You're gonna have to share.
Not a problem.
Oh, he's sleeping.
Okay.
So this is peace. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, this is my peace time.
Okay.
This is Futurama reruns time.
Yeah, I love Bender. Bender's amazing.
Just the bottom thing there.
So this is the thing. I'm on my older computer, so it's definitely not going to share. That's why, I knew that I wasn't set up to share.
No.
So yeah, so that's why when we did it, I sent it because I wasn't 100% sure I'd be able to share. So
your computer is a fascist capitalist that won't share?
No, it's just an older Mac that doesn't have all the bells and whistles of my newer Mac, and I'm on it as opposed to
the updates.
Yeah, and this one, it's I don't even know if we're advanced to do the update. So I hate that. So I don't know if without it being too awkward of a moment, I can resend the slideshow. That's not hard, or it's right there in the Google Drive.
Everybody, you could send it send it to me. Okay. Everybody pretend this isn't happening right now.
Right.
Well, we can talk about
pretend it's not happening.
And
okay.
Thank you, Nyla.
Let me share a story of when we were in between a meeting. We were discussing an upcoming episode between the four of us, and my glass of wine spilled over on my laptop.
Oh my God.
And Stefan said, put it in rice.
Right away.
Right, yeah. And I did, and he's like, no, you're supposed to take the bottom portion of the laptop off in order for it to work.
That's not exactly what I said.
Yes,
no.
So this is what I tell myself, okay? So I unscrewed the bottom portion of my laptop and actually put it in rice, and everyone screamed at me. All these guys over here screamed.
I didn't scream at you. I just said, no, why'd you take the bottom off? Why'd you take the bottom off? Stefan, you said the bottom. Take it off.
That is screaming. I am sensitive. That is screaming to me. Okay.
She's like, is it normal for the rice to be in there?
Did it soak up and get all puffy inside your computer?
Okay. To this day, it worked. Okay, it worked. For some miracle, it worked. Okay, my laptop turned on again.
Wow.
But I still keep finding pieces of rice in the bottom, so I haven't sealed it yet.
Oh my Lord!
How long ago was
works, but I had an entire bag of rice. I can't use that anymore. I
would throw that out.
I feel like I'm so clumsy. I would do it again.
Just throw it out.
I was just more interested in if the computer could double as a rice cooker, because that would be awesome. You could, be on the internet and get a nice, tasty snack that's somewhat good for you, depending on how much you have.
I know
Worst
I get a
invention
computer, so
ever.
I feel like I could use it as a sandwich. Put sandwich in this. It gets so hot.
Oh, like a sandwich press. Yes.
Yeah,
that'd be cool though, because you get all those letters in it.
Probably with a Dell laptop, you could do that. It gets so hot.
Did you just say an Adele laptop?
Dell.
He just said.
Dell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not going hello.
Okay.
Have it.
My rubber
So,
chicken.
I do have your slides there, Dana. We have to let you know that we are running a little bit late.
Right. No, and I pray that it's the. I don't
Well, I
even
mean, if you
know.
guys want, while you're still figuring it out, I can tell you what I need comedy-wise, what I'm looking for right now.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay,
Woo!
cool. So I'm looking for kid comedians. I'm looking for singing.
Oh, I'm in.
I'm looking for singing comedians. So when it comes to singing, like anything from like Lonely Island to Adam Sandler, but normally what I tell people is, we're trying to stay away from regional jokes. So if you're in New York, I wouldn't do a song about subways, because if you're from like bumfuck Texas, like you're not going to know anything about subways. Racial issues, sexual stuff, pandemic related, because who wants to joke about that stuff anymore or hear about it next year? Political things, profanity, time sensitive. So Christmas, Halloween, like it's going to be on in May, so we're not going to be singing about Halloween. Branding, especially negative branding. So if you're like, Spirit Airlines sucks, well, that would be defamation. So we don't want to do that on our show.
When you say singer, are you for the Al Jolson kind of like? If I just go up there and be like, Mommy, why don't you help me, Mommy?
I think you would be, what do you call it? I think you would be buzzed off real fast if that was the case.
Okay. I'll drop my Al Jolson routine. Thank you very much. I needed to know that. I didn't know for sure.
But yeah, so like we're looking for all of that. And then, come say hello. Yeah.
It's like,
hi.
Never.
The door's still open. Say hi. That's Stacy.
Oh my god.
You're on air.
I can't hear anybody.
Live.
He can't hear anybody. What'd she say? What'd you say?
I don't know. Just a bunch of moving mouths. Cool. Great. Awesome. Have
They're
fun.
not saying anything. Now they're just making movements now.
Is he trying to read our mouths right now?
I'm looking for a modern mime, whatever that may mean. I don't know.
What is a modern mime?
It's someone that only
like
speaks in emojis.
Like Mr. Bean.
He's a mime?
I mean,
What is that dude's name? Damn it!
Well, Stefan, don't you say that Donald Trump is a mime? Why do you say that? That Donald Trump is a mime?
Because for 4 years he was the only one that could see the wall, right?
Yeah.
Right.
oh jeez.
This is the first time I've ever said a two-step, but get out.
Oh, people
I
love
love
that
that
one.
joke.
You'd be shocked.
I'd love that joke.
That's fine.
You know.
Oh, Alex in our comments is asking if there's any comedy shows coming up in.
Okay, we're gonna add it.
I mean, I see that there are comedy shows all around LA. The Improv I know is having outside shows. I know that there's shows at the Magic Castle. The Haha Comedy Club is open again, but I don't think they're going to do outside comedy yet. I don't think they're allowed to for their city, but they're open for food and like watching football. Go support them. I don't know. I really don't know. Everybody I know is leaving town.
Are you ready, Dan?
Yeah, Dan.
Well, please look in the chat real quick. Sorry.
Okay.
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 Like
So I know
song.
let's I kind of feel that way. Let's just let's do Paul, and then if we don't mind, just come back to it. That way because Paul's been patiently waiting. Like I'm always. Let's do the guest.
We can add Paul.
Let's do the
Okay.
guest.
All right.
Nyla, we have enjoyed you so much. We've gone
Thank you for
overtime
your
with
patience. Thank you
No
for
worries.
waiting.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
But thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Nyla. All right,
All right.
now you may have seen it at Flappers, and if you haven't, get your ass over there and see him at Flappers. We have, and I'm doing this voice just for you, Paul from Flappers, so I can do this voice here.
Meow, meow.
I don't know if I should do that. Anyways, Paul Moomjean.
Woo!
Hey.
Hello.
Oh,
Hey,
Paul, you're still on mute there. I'm sorry, but these new talkie things are very hard to operate.
Can you hear me
There
now?
we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Well,
How you doing?
I'm glad to know, based on the last segment, that the future of comedy is small children and music. I am thrilled to hear that the future of comedy is mimes. Mime, small children, and music. Not Richard Pryor, not George Carlin. Mimes. Sorry.
It is what it is. I don't know what to say.
I know. That's the
Tell us
TikTok.
how you really feel, Paul. Tell us how you really feel.
No. That's the TikTok. That's what happened. We have this conversation every day at Flappers where it's like, what's people TikToking about? Because that's where comedy's going. Is that it's I do think that people are a little tired of just watching people talk. I will say that. I think that there's some people just don't want to watch people just talk for 20, 30 minutes. I don't know about you guys. You ever been to a comedy show where you find that the show kind of livens up a little bit when the comedian starts to do crowd work?
Yes.
Right? All of a sudden, it's like, right? They're going like, what's the deal with Tinder? And then they start doing crowd work, and then the audience feels part of the act a little bit more.
Well,
So
that's one of the
You know
things
what,
I
you're
love about
actually
British
right.
comedy. I love that in British comedy, a lot of times the big names, they actually devote a section of their show to taking the piss from the crowd. They allow the crowd to heckle them. They come back at them. I mean, people that are great at this is Jimmy Carr. Frankie Boyle. If you've seen him, he's really good at the crowd work. I mean, he automatically starts going in and just razzing the crowd or roasting them right away. So.
No, but you're actually right. So I actually watched my first outside comedy show since the pandemic last night. And the incredible Craig Robinson was the headliner. And he's actually, he does perform with Flappers very often, right, Paul?
Yeah. I mean, like it's been 8 months, but yeah.
Well, I think that applies everywhere. But he's a musical comedy, and he was such a crowd pleaser because what he did was he incorporated the audience to a majority of the set, and almost every previous comedian that went before him just did their basic set, and the jokes didn't land as strong compared to those that actually tried to talk to their crowd. Now that could sometimes go very well, like it did last night, or it could go really, really, really badly, especially if you have a drunk girl, which is my worst heckler. I can never control the drunk girl. And I can't say anything because I'm probably the drunk girl at Las Vegas shows.
No, the drunk girl at a comedy club will usually be escorted out by management. So like in all reality, my first major hosting gig was hosting for Tom Segura. And there was drunk girl, and it was a drunk girl in the front crowd. And I was told, go tell her if she doesn't, stop talking, we're going to pull her out of the show. So a club should be able to handle that. But an alternative venue, a bar, a restaurant, that's where it gets tougher because they just spent $24 on food. And that's the only, and the restaurant does not fit as many people as the club. So, yeah, no, the drunk heckler. The worst, though, I ever had was a bachelorette party at a bar. That was rough.
I mean, Paul, and you said a club should be able to handle it. I have found a club handles the drunk girl really well.
Yeah, I think that for the most part, they usually have not at Flappers. Not what we call it Flappers. We do not slap them.
Yeah, there's no clubbing people at Flappers.
No.
They don't bring out the Baby Seal Club. No,
that would be at Flippers. At Flippers,
yes, that's right.
I mean, there are some incredible comedians that have actually handled the drunk heckler really well that I've been impressed and I've seen a few. I personally have not done well in that aspect. Like I have definitely I've only had 2 incidents that I couldn't control, but it takes true talent. If you see a comedian on stage handling somebody that's disturbing the entire show and they do really well, you have to give them props because it's not an easy thing, especially as you're trying to get to every third word and she's just screaming or just trying to have a conversation in the middle of your set. It's pretty rough. But
well, I think the core of the issue is comedians who do not care if the audience likes them has no problem going after the heckler. But if you come from a background in which you need people to like you to do your job correctly, you got family issues, that's going to be tougher, right? So I think that if you look like you come from a background of sales, correctly, right, Stacey? Right. Okay, so in sales, when people make an offensive comment to you, not knowing they did it, you're still trying to sell them the thing. So you don't go like, oh, you don't heckle back. You go, oh, that's true. I do look like that, don't I? Please buy my thing. So that's way different than a social outcast who decided to become a comedian, who, when someone's interrupting their only opportunity that their introverted heart finally feels open to be extroverted, ruins the opportunity, they're going to go after them. Does that make sense? I think that that's something that most people. I was a school teacher. I didn't get to roast the children. Okay, when I taught high school, if a kid talked in class, the meanest thing I could say is, "That's it, Billy. You're going to have detention next time you do that." So I wasn't good with hecklers for my first 3 years. Right? I wasn't very good. My first 3 years, I was like, "Please, sir, just stop. They're going to fire me." And then after a while, it turned into, it's screw you, because nobody paid to listen to you, buddy. Then when the attitude changes, you change. Then you're able to handle it.
Then you're like, this is. Yeah, at that point, you're like, this is a PSA, everyone, for what happens when you drink too much.
Right.
Well, it's crazy. No, I mean, it's such a. That perspective has never, ever been brought to my attention at all. It's your insecurities that lead to your downfall, which, wow, thank you. Now it gives me a better idea of what to
one
do.
of the,
at the same time, like, oh my God, I'm broken.
One of the workshops, when I was taking Jerry Corley, he teaches you how to start writing material too for hecklers. So that's pretty fun stuff.
Wait, just for them? They're the ones heckling you. Like, why would you just decide to do a comedy just for those guys? Oh wait, that's not what you're saying. Got it.
Now,
it's
you have been such a great friend. We've known each other for a few years now, which is surprising because I can't believe it's been years now.
Yeah.
Not that long, but still a couple years. You have been in the industry for several years, and you started as a high school teacher, but you actually ended up writing for Nickelodeon shows, right?
Yeah, so I was a high school teacher from 2003 to 2006. And then when a teaching job fell through, I had let the other job go. So now I'm in a position where I didn't know what to do. And my uncle was like, well, you always wanted to be in part of the industry. Why don't you come work as a production assistant at Nickelodeon? So within 2 months, I got promoted to the on-set executive producer's assistant. And then within a month from there, I got promoted to his full-time assistant, which was an almost six-figure position. And and Nickelodeon, the thing about kids' cable television is they do not get to have a lot of writers. There might be 25 writers on a major, Hollywood big network sitcom. At Nickelodeon, there's 4. So I was able to be. So what the position was his personal assistant as well as in the writer's room working on shows. So I got to help create iCarly. I got to help do the final episode of Zoe 101. So to watch a television show complete itself, that's an education in writing. And then at the same time, watching the evolution of a show create itself. Like when the studio comes back and says, we don't like something, that's, watching how you handle that, because the artists, the writers, they're sitting there going, what do you know? And then they're looking at them going, well, what do you know? Right? We have to sell the show. And we don't think we can sell this. So there's a lot of interesting back and forth that I learned in those 2-3 years. And then the writer's strike happened. I decided to get a master's degree. I made a lot of short films. And then at 32, I got into comedy. So I started a little bit older. than most. I mean, look, when I was 32 and I walked into my first open mic, I was like, why is everyone 12?
Right.
Why? What? And of course they didn't know what to talk about. So I walked up and talked about having a job. I walked up and talked about relationships. They were talking about, well, for the guys, mostly they were talking about their penis.
Right.
And for the girls, it was a lot of the same stories of getting drunk or bad dates. But they were all 22,
or their penis.
Or their penis. You're right.
Yeah, or their penis. Yes.
Yeah. Which in some cases that just meant their husband's penis.
Oh.
It's crazy. So, Paul, your official title now with Flappers is director, right?
It's the site director for workshops and classes. Yeah.
And Paul, he was a student when I met him, so he is, he deserves his title so very well. He has given me feedback from the very moment that I've met him. But it's incredible that a lot of students that take classes at Flappers have the most interesting occupations. Like, I've met a bunch of lawyers
Okay,
take Flappers classes, right?
Right, but that's because when we took them, classes cost anywhere from $295 to $395. So you had to have a job to take a comedy class at Flappers for a very long time. And that's not a joke. That's just a reality. So a lot of times when I would talk to comics, who'd be like, I can't afford this. I go, well, really, comedy school's not necessarily for comedians who are getting up 5-6 times a week, right? It's a lot of times it's for people who want to do a bucket list. And so we get a lot of lawyers, a lot of teachers, a lot of doctors, a lot of accountants. We've had the people from Google show up. Like, we've had everybody. And they just want a place where they don't feel like they have to get up at 11, go out at 11 o'clock at night and then get up at 6 a.m. for work, right? So they have a class at 7 p.m. and they're done by 10 and they can go home and then get their 8 hours of sleep. It's just a different group of clientele. It's a different group of people that want to do comedy that can't do the 22-year-old staying out till 1 a.m. lifestyle. So that's what we have. Now, we do have a lot of comedians who take classes because a lot of comedians still have jobs. But, there's two types of comedians. There's a full-time job comedian and then who lives in his own place. And then there's the guy who lives with 5 other comedians. It's not like, right? It's not like there's like 2 worlds. There's 2 different worlds. You're either a full-time comedian with a full-time job, or you're a full-time comedian and you're just hustling for side money as much as you can so that you can eventually. Now, here's what's interesting is a lot of the people who live with 5-6 people, like I know comics who slept in bathtubs. I know comics who sleep on the floor and someone sleeps in the bed. And then eventually, though, they're able to put in an amount of time and effort. This has always been my struggle is I've always had to have health insurance. I'm diabetic. I cannot afford to pray one day for David Spade to give me a writing job.
Right.
I have to go to the doctor. I have to take medication. If I was a healthier person, I probably would live with 5 other dudes, pay $300 for rent, and pray to God that one day I'm writing for David Spade and Bill Maher.
It's interesting that you say bucket list because, I started at 41 years old, and I probably got 5 years left with what I do. So,
I mean, I think a lot of us, I think it's a lot of us have always watched the specials, and we're like, we have jokes, we have something to say. I want to say something, and that was me. That was me a couple years ago, and I was always on the fence about trying stand-up comedy. I always felt like it was kind of silly of me to do so, and I actually ended up taking a Flappers class, and I realized that I really enjoyed talking to the crowd, and I actually had really bad stage fright. I had an awful stage fright, and my anxiety would just kick in. But I always felt like I had something to say. And I know financially classes are not always easy to obtain because of financial reasons, but it helps when you can't properly form the things you want to say, which is that's where a lot of it. That's why I've always been grateful to you, because I would go to the class mic, and I would say the most stupid of things, or I would have nothing to say, and I'd just riff, and it'd be somebody say, "Hey, maybe you can go this way, or you can go that way." Sometimes another person's perspective can actually change the entire thing and actually make it really funny.
When I took over for the classes and workshops in November, and January we had a great month. I reached out to a lot of people. The moment in March when the pandemic hit, we slashed every price in half. We knew that people were going to have the free time to be able to do it, but not the money, which is the great irony, right? Mm-hmm. And so finally, I could take a comedy class at 1:00 in the afternoon, but I'm broke. So we were able to accommodate to that. We were able to work with people on that. And like you said, what a good comedy class should do is, first off, it should never promise fame or fortune. Yeah. And a lot of schools have done that. I'm not going to say who, but a lot of schools are like, take our class, we made so and so a superstar. No, you didn't.
I remember that when dating before, like, I would never promise fame and fortune for be going out with me.
Right. You understand. See, yes.
Yeah, it just wouldn't happen.
Yes. The secret to life is to underpromise and overdeliver. But then the other thing too is that a comedy class should be able to allow you to understand two concepts. One, brevity, less words is better. And two, you have to have a punchline. Because most open micers don't have punchlines. When you're starting out, it's attitude, right? It's like, what's the deal with this thing that nobody likes? Am I right? Right? And it's like, and so in comedy class, what I'll say is, well, how do you feel about that thing? Oh, well, it made me scared, or it made me feel uncomfortable. Okay, say that. Right. And now we can develop a punchline. I have a new expression that I'm using in my classes, which is the setup is for me. The punchline is for the audience. And what that means is, if I say I'm having trouble dating because I can't find a girl that that meets my value system, that might be a truth. The punchline is going to be because, hey, why would I date anybody who hasn't seen all 12 Rockies? Right? there's only 7. But right. The point is that I can say something that's truthful, but the punchline can be an exaggeration. The punchline can be something. And that's what a lot of comics don't understand. They think the punchline is for them. So they'll be like, I don't believe that. And you're like, but that's not the point. Go watch Jerry Seinfeld, okay? When he talks about how when he had orange juice as a kid and he used to have to chop it like it was a serial killer, he really didn't feel that way. He's making an exaggeration, right? He's making a bigger point. But at the beginning, his setup is life as a kid is hard because you have to have this frozen orange juice box at school. That is a statement of truth. The exaggeration is where he finds the punchline. And that's what a comedy class should do, is explain the basic fundamentals of comedy. And then from there, you should begin to develop a voice. You should begin to develop, what do I want to say? So I want to talk about my dating life. I want to talk about how my parents screwed me over. I want to talk about how corporate America sucks, whatever. But then you got to have a punchline. Like, this is a concept. Like, when somebody asked me the other day, they go, how hard is it to make it in comedy? I said, if you have punchlines, it's actually pretty easy. Because you got to figure this. You got this many people trying to be a comedian. This many people are actually kind of funny. This many people are doing it on a regular basis. And this many people are actually have punchlines. That's the difference. And you know this. I think I've told you this. I have a dry bar special coming out at the end of the year. And I'm very excited about this. And I filmed it 2 years ago. And then they've had a backlog of too many specials. And so it ended up getting backlogged. But I was able to, within 3 years of comedy, of pure stand-up, I was able to get a dry bar special. Nice. And it wasn't because I was funnier than anybody else. It was because I took it seriously and I had punchlines. A lot of stand-up comedians don't have punchlines. That's it. They're funny people. And how many of us know that comedian who's hysterical one-on-one? Then they get on stage and it's just a disaster.
Oh shit, that's me.
That is.
And so that's all. That's what comedy class should do, is help direct you to a punchline.
Yeah, it's interesting because you're basically telling me I can't just smash watermelons anymore. Fuck.
Well, technically you can. Technically you can, because Gallagher sells the act. So you could be Gallagher 3.
Oh, okay.
Paul,
I don't know if I could. Maybe someone else.
Paul, let me ask you something, or just run. I want to run this past you. It was something I got from another teacher, and I have been, I love kind of making sense of it all, and actually going to comedy classes. But I was working on a set, and what the teacher actually told me, she says, you have the punchline, but what you don't have is a strong setup. And the reason your punch is not landing is because she said a lot of times it's more likely it's in the setup where you're not, and honestly, since that day, I absolutely get that. And I have found, just as an individual, just me, Dana Keel, sometimes I feel like I do have these, it's what she said, like there's these great kind of landing spots I have, but then I realized I'm not setting it up. And I find that the more I tell a joke, that I can find better setups. And then going back to the thing that you said that I definitely have to keep learning is brevity. Like, how can we reduce the amount of words, still set it up strong, and then punch it? Like, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. The other expression we use at Flappers a lot is punchlines are easy, setups are hard. So you really, what you have is you have a world in which you have comedians who have a lot of attitude with no punchlines, and then you have comedians with a lot of punchlines but no setup.
Okay.
And so two different problems, right?
Right.
So basically, if you look at a setup has to basically have 3 elements. What the hell am I talking about? How do I feel about it, and why?
Okay.
Right? So Donald Trump is the president, and it's scary because he might do this. Done.
Got it.
Punchline. Or you can talk more personal. I always encourage more personal. I had to call my mother the other day, and it's annoying because she keeps telling me I need to get married. Right? I have to have a topic, a way I feel about it, usually negative. Right? Because nobody wants to hear, well, I went on a date last night and it was wonderful because we had tons of sex. Like, no one wants to hear that story. Nobody. Okay? And even an attractive comedian who could say that, people be like, screw you, buddy. Okay? Right? So it usually has to be negative. I went on a date and it was annoying because she did not want to sleep with me at the end. That, at least there's a conflict. There's some type of complaint. Right? From there, I can begin to establish the punchline. Because once I establish, you're right, once you establish a strong setup, the turn or the twist does not have to be true, but at least it's going to, allow a good setup allows for really fun, punchline. So if I talk about how I went on a date and it ended badly, the punchline could become something where I talk about how I said something stupid. Right? So it's not that she was the problem, it was me.
Right.
So that's really what it comes down. But you're right. And so I believe there's 2 different problems in comedy. 1, weak setups, 1, weak punchlines.
Right.
Now, the person with weak setups and weak punchlines, God bless their heart.
Yeah.
But then, hey, listen, if you have $5, you can go to any club that lets you do it for $5. Or if you want to buy vodka, they'll let you do it.
So let's try this real quick. Okay, let's see. Donald Trump is scary because he made me realize that the worst clown makeup is fake tanner.
So here's what I
failed.
Here's the mistake you made. Donald Trump is scary because what's the real? If the punchline is the Tanner joke, Donald Trump is scary because you realized any type of person can become president, especially someone with a fake tan. See, that's what you would want. Clown tan. See, that's how you would want to set that up. Anybody could be president, even a guy with a clown tan. So that's how you would set that up.
Yeah, I usually when it does work, I usually just say that I realize now that the scariest clown makeup is fake tanner, and I don't say the beginning part. But yes, you're right. So,
Paul, I just wanted to chime in earlier at something you said. There are, like, I've been taking different classes, different places, from UCB to different teachers, and lawyers are like a wild card group of people with money. Let me just say that it's that you said bucket list, but over time, I've met a lot of attorneys who don't practice law. They do anything and everything but. And I said, you guys, if there was ever the Uno wild card of professional life, you guys are it. And you're the most dangerous because you make lots of money no matter what you do. If you show up for an hour, you can make good money if you show up a whole day. So I think a lot of times I've just met, even at my UCB classes, wherever, I'm always meeting attorneys because they have the means, but they're still people who get to have a professional title and get to still search for themselves, even if they're making six figures, doing their professional work. And I think that's why there's a good number, a nice number. I'd have to do real stats and real research in comedy, because I have a good girlfriend. She went to engineering school at Howard, like full scholarship, total whatever. So like she actually became a mechanical engineer, patented some kind of special pasta fork, then went to law school, and now she's doing comedy full time. So yes. I'm just saying, and so as a Gen Xer, there was a period that a lot of my engineering school colleagues were all going to law school and doing this law thing. But again, I think more than engineers, lawyers rather, are just the wild card of the professional world who have money, like who just have money to do what they want to do, Just a thought.
Here's the thing about lawyers, is that a lot of times a lawyer will get an accidental laugh from a jury. It becomes a drug. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Unlike the cocaine.
Right. Yes.
I think it happens to everyone in general, that they think that they're funny because a group of friends or a group of strangers laugh at that very one small joke they make.
Right. So here's the thing. Jerry Seinfeld said, first you have to make your friends laugh. Then you have to make strangers laugh. Then you have to make strangers pay to laugh, right? Most of us get to level 2. That's kind of where a lot of comedians get to, is that it's hard to get that career going, right? But for lawyers, I think that also they like the idea of the argument. And comedy has an element of argument to it. Right?
Yeah, very much.
So there is a sense of, I'm right, other people are wrong.
So they might get people to laugh for them, to pay to laugh through subpoena.
Yeah. Well, think about this. If a lawyer went up, they're going to make the argument that my wife was wrong when she told me I had to do X, Y, Z. Right? That's kind of what comedy is a little bit, is making an argument about your point of view on a topic. And so lawyers do appreciate that idea. Now, here's the other problem, though. Lawyers, very much more than any other profession, get lost in what they can't see the forest from the trees. So what happens is they get a little too deep into it, and then they forget the fact that there's supposed to be a playfulness to comedy. There's supposed to be kind of a free-flowing nature to comedy. You still have to be acting as if this, what is the trick of comedy? To make people think you didn't actually write the joke.
Right.
So, but the lawyer has to look in the courtroom like he really prepared for the case. So they tend to like have a little bit of that conflict of that. But I do think there's a sense of argument that they appreciate.
Yeah, that's such an interesting view, because I think that's what makes Larry David so funny. He's the defense type attorney where they're wrong, but he gives you a good idea as to why they think they're right. And I've never actually seen it that way. That's actually a great view on it.
That's what George Costanza was. It's not lying if you believe it.
Wait, are you saying that that's what Donald Trump is too? It's not lying if you believe it. I feel that's a good summation of him.
If Donald Trump wanted to be, he could have been a great stand-up comedian.
He probably could.
He would have been basically Larry the Cable Guy.
But instead he'd be Donald the rich douche instead.
I could see him as a Larry David, to tell you the truth. It's like I could see him as a Curb-like person.
But couldn't you just? But imagine if Larry the Cable Guy would have walked out on stage and said, Mexicans are the worst. That might have hit. You know what I mean? That might have worked with Larry the Cable Guy going, can you believe them Mexicans are sending their rapists over here? Like that would have been a different type of bit. But I think that Donald Trump would have tapped into some weird Jeff Dunham, Larry the Cable Guy id that people would have responded to. Because
if he came out and said that about Mexicans, like he'd be like the George Carlin for rednecks.
Okay. My problem with Trump would be that he would normalize mail-in order brides from Russia, and it's already hard to date in LA, okay? I don't need no more fucking competition. That's the only reason I hate Donald Trump, because if he makes that the new normal, I'm fucked. I'm never going to get a husband.
Well, but you know what? That's where Donald Trump, as a comedian, would have gone. He would have been like, I couldn't find any women, had to find a Russian bride. Like, right?
Fabulous.
Right. They don't cringe as much when you want to pee on them.
So I think, there's something there about the types of people who get into comedy who have kind of a lawyer, doctor, accounting background. They see things in a certain type of logic, and they like to play with that logic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, lots of what is your perspective on self-deprecating humor? Do you think that comedians are more successful in doing that? Or is it just a simple, stupid laugh that they know they're going to get?
First off, our job is to get a laugh. So if it's a stupid laugh, lots of comedians have made a wonderful career off stupid laughs.
Right?
Okay, so the objective is to be funny. Listen, if the objective is to be political, outside of a few people, it's usually bombs. Right? Or it's very simplistic. Like when I see a comedian walk on stage and go like, what's the deal with Donald Trump? It's like, oh, wow, what a deep thinker. Like, you caught what the rest of us didn't. Good for you. Okay. Here's the thing with self-deprecation that I've started to realize. I'm a self-deprecating comedian. But when I was in 5th grade and I started to put on weight, my dad said, make the joke funnier than they can make it. So I grew up being a self-deprecating guy. I made people laugh about my own weight and my own size and my own whatever well before, okay? So everybody knew if we just shut up, Paul's going to have a better joke about being a terrible athlete or a terrible this than anybody else, okay? But as for self-deprecating, Fluffy doesn't have a career if he doesn't talk about how fat he is. Jim Gaffigan doesn't have a career if he doesn't talk about how fat he is, right?
John Panette, who I love.
John Panette is my favorite comedian of all time. Outside of there's like a top 5 that could kind of shuffle, right? But Panette, in fact, I met his manager one time. His manager represents Ron G, wonderful comedian, and his manager came up to me after a set that I had hosted for Ron G, and he said, he goes, listen, and I almost cried. I really did. I almost cried. He said, I watched your set. I was John Panette's manager. Some of those jokes, those would have been the jokes John would have written.
That's nice.
And I literally, I'm sitting there, right, and I'm trying death. I literally remember grabbing my drink to cover my eye from crying. So, but here's the thing with self-deprecation. It doesn't work if there's nothing to self-deprecate.
Right.
Right?
You got to be real and
so I shouldn't start working out. Don't start working out. Stay fat. Stay bearded. Got it.
I told my mom when I started comedy, I said, Mom, I have 2 roads. I either lose more weight and continue to lose weight, or I gain 100 pounds and get a Netflix special in 2 years.
It's either a comedy special or a reality show about you in a chair. I mean,
I come up in a wheelchair. Just I'm not disabled. I'm just 450 pounds. But here's the other thing that I found is that there is this kind of war on self-deprecation. It's from the far right, like the Christian community, where it's like, don't speak bad about yourself. And then the far left, right, that also says like, oh no, you should be self-esteem, right? Here's the problem. The groups that tend to be really against self-deprecation, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, are really big fans of making fun of the other group.
Yeah.
And so the Christian comedians will make fun of the gays, and they'll make fun of the different political views, the Hillary Clintons, the Democrats, and the ones on the far left will make fun of the same Trump supporting type of people. And so what I feel like is it's like self-deprecation's wrong, but making fun of the other group, A-okay. And so I don't like that at all. Like, that doesn't seem very fair. So I think the self-deprecation, I always tell my students, make fun of yourself first before you make fun of anybody else. That's the rule, right? If your opening joke is about how Trump supporters are this or how this particular group's like that, I go, you know what? If you make fun of yourself up front, you can make fun of everybody else. Because then everyone understands that you're coming from a place of, I'm trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be mean.
Oh.
Because you're trying to win them over first, right? Before you try to do anything else.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and win them over is really just to get them to realize that you are not here to make fun of them specifically, right? It's the idea that you're here to see what's wrong with the status quo. And the first thing that's wrong with the status quo is I'm too short, I'm too fat, I'm too bearded, I'm too this, I have poor vision.
Okay. You're getting all of them. You're getting all of them. Thank you. Yeah.
You guys are twins, and we didn't know.
I'm gonna go cry in a corner. See everybody. No.
This is seeming like such a basic girl type situation. You're officially basic.
I know, but the weirdest part is I'm married, so it kind of makes up for all of it. I'm like, yeah, big deal.
I was talking to the Booker at Flappers last night where we were joking about it's not that I'm running out of material. There's always material. Right. Like tonight I did a show right before this, which turned out to be a talent show. It wasn't an actual show. I found out I was on a talent show.
What's your talent, Paul?
My talent
have you done stuff?
I roasted the first 5 people before me, and then I had some fun. But my point is, we were talking, and I said, I want to get married for the jokes. like if I statistically, I'm going to get divorced. Statistically, so I figured let me find a really cool girl. We'll get married. She'll tell me what's wrong with me, and then I'll tell the audience what she said, and I'll be like world famous in like 2 years.
I mean, that seems pretty normal. Have you seen 90 Day Fiance? There's a reason you're getting married.
I always thought that was about a fiance that would dissolve after 90 days, like just disappear like Thanos. Like, where'd she go?
My problem is I go after women who are very nice to me but don't want to be with me. And so it's like, oh wow, she was nice and she said that I was funny or she liked me or she liked 3 of my Facebook posts. I should ask her out. And then that was a disaster. And like I literally asked a woman out the other day and she's like, oh no, I have work the next morning and I can't go out. I said that is a legitimate reason to not go out. And then 2 days later, it was Friday, and she was at a party on the top of a roof of a very cool place with other cool people, in which none of them looked like me. And then the next morning, she woke up, and she just in her apartment with her dogs putting Instagram stories up. And I realized she just flat out lied. But then on top of that, she kept putting in the Facebook stories, the Instagram stories, why will no one ask me out?
That bitch. I'm sorry. Anyway. That was emotional.
Well,
one day I'm sure I'll find some guy who finds me beautiful. And I'm like, I'm not even going to,
Well, make sure that doesn't become the negative energy where you're a nice guy online. So, make sure.
Yeah, some people, men and women, they just set the bar a little too unrealistically because they're not really grounded in reality. That's part of the problem.
Well, the other problem is that Marilyn Monroe married Arthur Miller. And this has been giving people like me hope for the last 20 years.
Right. The same way Janet Jackson dated, there's a great music producer who's awesome. His name is Jermaine Dupri. But when Janet dated Jermaine, I'll never forget Chris Rock coming on the MTV Awards, rather, just saying, we all had a shot. If you're with Jermaine, I had a shot. We all had a shot. So funny.
Do we have to remember none of these were successful? Like,
I don't know if that's the point of the joke right now. That's
She became the other woman, and Janet Jackson just got richer by getting a random baby daddy.
So remember this. Remember this. One of Norm Macdonald. I love this joke he did on Saturday Night Live where he was talking about Julia Roberts and Lyle Lovett have just divorced. It happened when Julia Roberts realized she was married to Lyle Lovett.
Right.
Oh, yeah, Pretty Woman guy.
Oh, what was that? I didn't do it.
The ring.
Well, Paul, unfortunately, we've had our time. You've been a great guest.
Well,
It's great to have you here. By the way, Paul, I will be playing on December 12th at Flappers, so I will make sure to get into character and tape my tits down.
Good.
I just want to say this before you go, Paul. One, I feel like it's so wonderful to meet you here because I get the emails every week, and because I think I've accidentally put it on 2 different emails, then I get it twice. I get the same emails back to back. And much like Dan, it's been my pleasure to do it's like that when I first started getting booked at Flappers, because I was so new and so excited, I would count like, oh my gosh, this is the 3rd time, this is the 4th time. And, and it's been a blessing. I am a very spiritual person. It's been a blessing to lose count of how many times that I've been blessed to be booked at Flappers. So I just think it is an amazing institution for growing comedians. Yes. And for someone, I've been in LA for just over 20 years, and I tried out comedy very early in my time of getting here, but I went on to work in different industries, music industry on the film side. Music videos were very popular. And to finally make my way back, and one of the first things that an encouraging person told me was, you'll be booked at Flappers in no time. She's like, you're already good enough. I think you just have to keep doing the mics. And so it's just really nice to really meet you, because it's for everyone here, it's a big part. Obviously we're not necessarily here to talk about or, all that, but just It's a big part of what is shaping my journey, and just grateful to meet you in person and learn way more about you than I knew.
I definitely want to go ahead and say that if anyone watching is considering and trying stand up, Paul is beyond involved. I've taken multiple comedy classes, and the one thing that I've realized is you can have a teacher that has the experience, but the reality is they can be listening. They're just laughing, providing some feedback, but you're not really connected to your teacher in the sense that you think they're actually paying attention to you or giving you the feedback that you feel can actually be constructive. Paul is beyond amazing. He is very informative. He actually listens. He actually tries to help you structure a good punchline and setup. I highly recommend, if you are thinking about doing stand-up, he is the perfect teacher to start with.
Thank you. And with that said, don't worry, Stacy. We're going to give you that $100 for the endorsement.
Why, thank you. No, just kidding. This is definitely not the case.
No, I'll be definitely looking into taking some classes with y'all, Paul.
Yeah, it's we're wrapping up the year right now. It's hard to do classes anytime after like the 2nd week of December,
right?
Because people are busy. But we'll start up again in January, and
comedians are busy being mall Santas, right?
Well, remember what we talked about. It's the lawyers. The lawyers are the ones who take those 2 weeks off.
Right.
So we will start up again in mid January again, and the only thing that we really try to do with any of our Flappers classes is we're trying to build comedy community.
Yes,
we've had a lot of our students develop their own writing groups. We've had students be able to develop their own TV writing groups. Like, we teach writing classes. And so we've had students that decided they got together to just keep writing. So they paid, maybe $200 for a class, and then they started their own Zoom group. So really what I'm most proud of is the ability to build community and the ability for people to build friendships, because that's what Flappers did for me when I started out. Mm-hmm. And so that's all you just want to do. You just want to give people an opportunity to make some friends and to feel like they're part of the community.
Network.
And that's why comedy has really been therapy for me as I've started it. Is I've met so many people that actually want to laugh. I work in software during the day, so I don't meet too many people that want to laugh during the day. But at night, I come and I talk to people like yourself, Paul, and the people here on the podcast like Dana, Stacy, and Stefan that actually want to laugh for part of their life. And it's been really good. So if you're one of those type of people, I mean, like Paul said, there's different types of comedians. You could be someone who just comes in to laugh part-time and help others laugh part-time. It's really great.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for joining us, Paul. And you guys remember next Thursday we're both.
That's right. We will see you all next Thursday.
Everybody.
Thank you.
See you on later, okay?
Bye.
Yeah.